Okay. So one of my biggest concerns right now with you, I mean, your farm actually, in my opinion, farming's getting better. But our champion is really good if we see the plays and want to go after them. So let me add some more. The first thing you need to start doing in practice tool is you literally, and it sounds obvious, but you need to start getting into the mindset of what your play is and how, like, the keys that you have in order to execute them. So let me give you an example. So basically, I always talk about how on the meat of my thumb, there's a stop command, right?
Yeah.
Well, one thing I've started doing is on my other, like on the top of my thumb, I have a Zonia's.
Okay.
This slot.
Yeah, because I have the stop command on my side of my mouse button too.
Yeah, this right here is going to make things a lot easier for you to do and to make it frame perfect.
Okay.
Like, you can do all this stuff. But the other thing is, like, because I see you getting into fights, and you have good ideas now. I see you thinking about like TP flanks, which is really good. But you need to start playing these fights out more confidently, and what your goal is. Start thinking in terms of how you're going to play them as you turn the corner, because what's happening is you get into the fight and you're just giving up. So you're like, I'm in the fight and I don't use anything, and then I just die or whatever, right? What you should be thinking is, I'm going to get on this flank and I'm going to dash in. I'm going to combo Everfrost, whatever, and then do one of these. And then try to flash out or whatever, right?
Okay.
So, because you're missing so many actions, and the same thing holds with when you're side laning as well, is what I was trying to get you to do is just think in terms of, like, let's say the wave's arriving. So I'll go down here. So it should look like this. You see how smooth this is?
Right.
So it should be nice and snappy and quick. It's very clunky when I watch you go, and it's something that can easily just be fixed in the practice tool. Obviously, you're not going to have this much damage, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's not fluid yet. It needs to be fluid. I need you clearing. Like, when I tell you to push, I need to see some shit like this. Like, just get it out of our face. So that we can run that, because again, when we're doing this, when it comes to waves crashing, we're doing it not like, you need to view it as in terms of like it's a literal hourglass, right? And so when the wave's in the middle of the lane, we have this much time, right, before this sand wears off, right? That's our timer.
Okay.
So right here, when the wave gets here, and say your opponent's just sitting back here in Narnia somewhere and playing like a bitch, okay, no problem, right? And I'm out. I'm leaving. If you're just gonna sit there and do that, I'm leaving. I'm going up here. I don't care. I need to go ward. Like, I need to find something to do. It needs to be fluid. The answer is never push and stand. The sooner you learn this in low elo, the better. You immediately just need to drill the wave. And every player that I coach is always afraid of, like, well, what's the opponent gonna do? No, you just need to use A left click more and just move in auto the whole time.
Okay.
So that, because what you're afraid of is you're like, well, I'm afraid if I walk up to farm, Ari's gonna blast me with a Q or E, right? And so you're scared. But if you're doing this more, I notice when you're farming too, sometimes you're not actually autoing the whole time because you're like, well, that minion's gonna die. Swap to a minion that's in front instead. Same thing down here. See, you're afraid to auto this minion, maybe. Auto this one while you wait. See what I mean?
Gotcha.
And then you can wait for the last one and look right away. I'm out. Right? I'm leaving. This is how you need to think in solo queue. It's like, oh, this guy's sitting back here. He's not playing the game. Fine, I'm over it. Can I dive him? Probably not. It's like a Trinimir or something. I can't dive him. Okay, right. I'm over it then. Take his ult. Bye. Right? Like, I'm not hanging out with him.
Okay.
Like, we have to... It's a lot of just faking it till you make it. Right? It's a lot of just like... I don't know what the plan is, but it sounds better than this.
Gotcha.
Right?
So kind of like looking to start something maybe.
Yeah, I'm always looking to start something because these games, dude, it's a leaf in the breeze to me. It doesn't matter. I don't care about an individual game. I care about when I finish a game. Did I learn something? Did I experiment? Did I explore? You're very stiff, and the reason that you're stiff is because you're not thinking about the play. The play that we're looking for with Sylas most of the time revolves around getting in there, doing a bunch of damage, and doing that. That's normally all you need to really do. Because, like, if you notice... Look.
Yeah.
Once you get your items, yeah. And then you can W again. The problem is you're opening the plays up and you're just doing this and you're not really getting the value and then you just slowly die and we don't get it off. But if you come in with confidence, by the time you need to use the ability again, it'll be back. Or at least it'll buy your teammates time to do something. But just don't be shy on the button. Like, literally just max range in. All right, auto. It's really hard, by the way. Like, this is why you practice in the practice tool. Because, like, when you dash in, you really should be thinking in terms of auto, W, auto, Q, shit like that. So let me give you an example. So it'd be like... See what I mean?
Yeah. All I do is, like, I'll, like, EQ to slow them.
I'm gonna like try to slow myself down and actually like, because you are so new, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean that in the way of like muscle memory. It's like you are so new that it's like it's not natural at all. So it's like E. So when we E in, I'm autoing, and then I would literally it'd be E. I auto, W auto, Q auto, you know, whatever, however many autos you got stored up, because back here every auto or every ability you use adds to the passive, obviously. Right, so in the case of the E, if I E and then I E, I technically have two autos, right? 1, 2. But generally speaking, the best way I find it works is if you just E auto W, and then because that's what an auto attack reset is, and that's what I think a lot of players miss, is that as soon as the auto attack goes through, like you see that little animation, as soon as it hits, like it should feel like you're playing fucking Street Fighter, bro. Like as soon as that shit hits, like that, you see that?
Gotcha.
That's how it should look. So it's like when you get really snappy at it, it feels good, and it seems like silly to do it this way, but depending on how snappy you are, you can really combo it together. You see that?
Yeah.
But it depends on how fast you press the button. Because this is how it normally goes if you don't mix it in auto attacks. So it's like... But most players, when they E, it's like that. But in reality, if you E auto and then smash it, it goes right away.
Okay.
See?
So
there's a difference there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't see it because it's like when Colin was showing me Tristana combos, and you could like ult Tristana away, and you could actually auto attack as they're flying away and make the auto go faster, which sounds ridiculous. It's the same thing here. So it doesn't seem like it's going to make that much of a difference. But even this, people aren't crisp with their auto attack resets. So when you go to auto somebody, as the auto connects, and this is the same with like farming cannon and stuff like that, because you'll miss, because with you you're missing minions. But the thing is, you should theoretically, if you have your W up and you're going to use your W, do it this way.
Okay.
Right? Instead of what you're doing, which is you're just W and hope it hits.
Yeah.
You just want to slap them together. It's like if you layer that animation, there's like no frame.
Yeah, it's no reaction time either.
Yeah. So it's very important. So this practice tool stuff, I think, is really essential. Traditionally, what I do is I just turn off cooldowns and just start like getting used to because now once you get into a lane after you practice, when you go to trade with somebody, you're going to step in a lot more confident. You're going to be doing some shit like this, right? Where it's nice and fast.
Right.
It's going to be so quick and snappy, because when you're going right now, it's like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty slow, yeah.
I want it like clean.
Okay.
And the faster we do it, the faster we can get out of the trade. So another example would be the Yasuo popped out of the brush and he's running at you. Your brain should have went, what the fuck? And just leave.
Yeah.
Like, you get, I mean, maybe not that fast because we're level 18.
Right,
but it's the idea that at the very least you should have did one of these to him.
Right.
And decide what you want to do. Because you could technically, if we do this correctly, technically with the Yasuo walk up, it would be A, W, E, or I'm sorry, auto attack, W, E, auto attack, and then you decide what to do. So auto attack, W, E, and like that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you could slap the shit out of him really quick before he even knows what's going on. If you're quick about it. But it is all on you. And then if you're winning, you just jump back in. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it under the hood. But for you for now, what I really want you to take away from this session is I want, because your opponents are often just going to back down like this. And I want you just thinking, okay, I need to and incorporate the A left click and just constantly auto and switch targets on the minions. Because there should be no animation downtime when you're shoving. If you get hung up on a minion, just swap. And then we get the wave moving. Roam with confidence. If you look top and you say, this is like a Yorick with a giant wave, I don't want that. But like if it's like a Jace or a Teemo or something up here, we will happily come up here, right?
Yeah.
Or a GP push the tower, or even a Tryndamere where you could take his ult. Like we'll happily run up here. But if there's no play, so you go right towards the brush, immediately it's compartmentalized. It's like, am I in lane? Yes or no, right? So it's like, okay, I'm not in lane. What are my options? What are your options when you're not in lane? Tell me some.
You can ward.
You can ward. So we can ward here. We can ward here, depending on how much timing we have here. Because the shove, remember, that is our clock.
Right.
So when the wave goes under, hits the tower, we now have a clock. So we can run as far as we can go before the next wave pulls off a tower here.
Gotcha.
So you would shove and then you would, go over here and do your thing. But the key is we can shove, we can roam, we can invade. Like say there's a jungler in here, right? We can go fuck him up if we want. Do whatever we want to do to him. Or we could just be backing here. That's fine. That's an option. As long as you do it confidently and fast, that's what I want. And then we have the roams to the other lanes. The other thing, too, is that if there's a fight over here and you're pushed in, well, now it's a weighted fight. Because, whatever weighted fight's going on here, we just show up and then the play is over, right?
Yeah.
And it's GG. So, the thing that I want you to take away is not only the shove, the roam, but, like, I want you to basically practice getting into a state where it's like, okay, I shove, I go here, and I'm either backing, or I'm roaming, or and it needs to just be already decided here. You've chosen.
Okay.
You've chosen on your own. Right or wrong, I don't give a shit. Right? You literally go, I'm going to shove this as fast as I can and go just like this and decide what I do.
Okay.
That's Sylas. If this guy is like, if he's actually scrapping with us, then sure, let's just, let's limit test these combos a little bit more, right? Let's do a little bit more of this shit.
Right.
Battle it out. All this makes sense?
Yeah.
I hope this is helpful. Am I going to see you again in a few weeks?
Probably.
Good, good. I want to see the improvement. I mean, this champion is really hard. The only reason I'm letting you really play him is because, like, I don't want to just dismiss it altogether until you've put time in on it, because it is a brand new game with a really tough champion. But let's build the framework off of improving speed of combos, which can be practiced in the practice tool.
Okay.
And let's just keep amping that up and getting used to it. And then once we get into a game, let's incorporate these like down times when our opponent's playing so passive. Let's start saying, okay, we're going to shove. Oh, and one more thing. So with these range matchups, all you need to do, if she flings an ability and you're level 2, so if like Ari flings a Q or something, literally just do one of these.
That's what I was going to...
And you did do it here.
Yeah,
you did do it here. The wave was here and you were turtled up, right? So let's say the wave was like here and you're kind of boxed in and she's standing like here, right? And eventually it got to a point where you were, you know, she got a little too close or whatever happened. And you just went like this and comboed her to fucking Narnia, right?
And she flashed.
You're free to do this, but you need to look... Any range matchup, I tell everybody, they all have these like... these movement impairing like distance keeping abilities. So like if I'm a Xerath, what's Xerath's abilities? Do you know?
Yeah, he's got his max range Q that charges. He's got his stun and he's got his like AoE.
So his stun is that little beach ball looking thing that he throws, right?
Yeah.
So if you see him throw it, so like basically what I do is I just walk and do one of these from time to time to see if I can get it out of him.
Okay.
And if I see him do it, it's an immediate, like, say it goes like here. Right. And I'm like standing here, then I immediately go, okay. And just fuck him up for that. Don't be afraid from time to time. So say the minion wave's here. Don't be afraid from time to time to just do one of these to see if you can get him. Or like, say there's minions. So they can't shoot past your minions. So play them kind of like a bunker almost, right? So what you do is you pop your head over them. And generally, the range player is always going to be scared when he sees that. And he's going to just throw the ability right away. So what you do is you just do one of these where you like, you know, or you just fake in and out. Like you're passing it to use it as a blocker. And then say Ari like charms the minion. Then you immediately go, bye, right? And you just go ham.
Right.
Because you know that she used that ability and you were... So you'll notice when I face ranged champions, I always move like this. Because I'm trying to see if they waste an ability so that I can go nuts on them.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Good session, dude.
Thanks.
I know that I know it was a bit of a struggle, but Sylas, I understand. I understand because I had to feed a bunch on my climb to start figuring it out. And you're really new, so it's like double learning, right?
Yeah.
So keep grinding, keep putting into practice what we talked about, and then hit me back in a few weeks or whatever.
Awesome.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, peace.